What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today on my show, my guest is vocalist Glenn Silva of the band Demurred, man, and we talk about everything, including his most recent single, Declaration of the New World Order, and as well as his relationship with Aaron Shaparian, and we get a little ghost story on a show that drops the day before Halloween, man. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And as always, I extremely greatly appreciate everyone who's been listening to this show, everyone who is either becoming a fan of this show or enjoys what I do. It means the world to me when people tell me they've enjoyed a show, or they send me some likes my way and stuff like that, man. I really greatly appreciate it, man. Please, share the shit out of the show, man. Tell me what I could be doing better. Tell me what you think I'm doing good, man. And just thank you guys. And as always, man, if you'd like to be a guest on my show or you have a show idea, man, hit me up on Facebook and Instagram, Blue Presents a Podcast, and on Twitter at PodcastofBlue. But before we get started, man, listen to my man, EP46, tell you why you should be listening to the Roads We Travel podcast.
Hey everyone, EP46 here, and I'm here to talk to you about my podcast, The Roads We've Traveled. It's a podcast where every week I talk to guests and friends from music, art, comedy, and more about their journeys through life, their struggles, their joys, and everything in between. You also get to know a little bit more about me and my journey as well. So if you like podcasts about good conversations about life, or maybe you're just looking to relate to somebody about some things you may be going through as well, then The Roads We've Traveled is the podcast for you. Subscribe to us today on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Check us out and subscribe to us on YouTube. And check us out at facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled Podcast. All right, everyone. Thanks.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents Podcast, a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life. And today, my guest is Glenn Silva of the band Demurred. How you doing today, Glenn?
I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
It's going not too bad over here, man. Like I said, looks like the end of the world outside. How's it going over in California?
It's apocalypse.
Anyway, so first question is, what are your top 5 artists?
Okay, so my first one is Molotov Solution.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite Annihilator. Black Tongue.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I had a brain fart.
No, it's all right, man. I was just like, oh no, did we lose you again?
King Conquer and Youth Forever or Youth Forever, however they pronounce the name. They used to be called Villains. I like them a lot.
Okay, nothing wrong with that, man. That's what's up, man. So, like I was telling you before, my podcast is just to talk about the journey into music and how we all get into it, man. So how did it start for you, Glenn?
Started about like 15, 16 years ago. I was like 10 or 11 years old. I started playing guitar. I was like very heavily influenced from like hard rock and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I started picking up guitar, and then I had a friend come over and he like downloaded a bunch of metal into my computer. And there was like stuff like the Black Dahlia Murder,
Mm-hmm.
Behemoth. At the time I couldn't even get into Behemoth. They were just way too evil. But then I really liked the Black Dahlia Murder, so I started listening to like more death metal bands like Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of kept going from there, and then I started getting really, really into like Slipknot in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about a couple of year difference, and then I was really influenced by like Paul Gray, the bassist of Slipknot,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like influenced me to pick up the bass guitar. So I started playing bass for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I started learning a lot of Slipknot songs, started learning a lot of death metal songs too. I started trying to get really good at bass and
Mm-hmm.
getting very serious about it. Started getting a lot of equipment. I got like a few different basses. So I kept playing. But then there's like times where I was on and off the bass guitar, and pretty much from there, me and my friend in high school, we were talking about like starting a band,
Mm-hmm.
but then we both really like Slipknot, so we're like, let's do a Slipknot tribute band.
Hey, man,
And
I think we've all been there, man, where we've kind of like, we trying to figure out what to do, and it's just like, well, why don't we just cover people's stuff? You know, been there before.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was called Tongue Pills. It was pretty much Slipknot backwards. That's what it was named.
Okay.
And I had a friend so my friend from high school, he went to a local like hard rock show,
Mm-hmm.
and he met and someone else, another friend. He's really close to me. Pretty much they started talking, and he pretty much joined our little project that we had going on. And then it's funny because my friend from high school, he really like didn't show up to any of the practices, so he was like never really a part of the band. So it was just me and his friend. We like met up at his house and we started like practicing
Mm-hmm.
all these Slipknot songs, and then we kind of got like a lineup together. We got like a vocalist, guitar player. Pretty much, we just started getting together and started playing songs from the Mate Feet Kill Repeat album.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what we started doing. It was really dumb, and then we had like a falling out, and we like stopped talking to each other for like a couple of years, and then I don't think it's actually a couple of years, but like almost a year and a half, and then we got back together, started talking again, and I said with the idea of creating something original. So we started like a deathcore band, and it was called Echoes of Silence.
Mm-hmm.
And that had like a lot of issues. There's like a lot of issues going on with that band. So it was just like, it just couldn't work out for a lot of reasons. So I started, me and my friends, and the same group of people, we started going to like shows and stuff, and we're still hanging out, we're still friends. And that's kind of where I met this other band called Asylum. Mm-hmm. And their guitarist, I became pretty cool with. he like invited me over to their practices, and that's kind of where like I met this whole group of musicians and stuff, and like, that's like kind of where it really started taking off from there, because I got pretty close with them and ended up filling in on bass for like, I remember my first show I filled in. It was like at a near venue that is closed down now. We played their original songs and a cover by As Blood Runs Black called "In Dying Days." We played that, and that was really fun. It was like my first time ever playing a show live. It was just great. It's like one of my favorite memories. So pretty much from there, they kind of like had me play like, sometimes I would like one song with them, pretty much. That's all I would do. They would like feature me, I guess. But eventually it kind of started growing more and more toward me wanting to join the band, and then their vocalist, he's passed away now. He passed away earlier this year. Wow. He told me, you should start learning vocals, man. I think we could do like a dual vocal thing, and the guitarist would actually approve, and you can probably join the band, but you should learn how to do it and be really good. And I was like, all right. So I started learning vocals. So I started screaming to like Suicide Silence and Whitechapel a lot. I didn't give up. Like, my brothers would talk shit to me. They'll tell me, "Oh, dude, you fucking suck. Wow. You're never gonna get nowhere." But they were just joking around. I was like, "No, I'm trying. I'm gonna keep going." They were pretty supportive. Like, "All right, keep going." But I'm being honest with you, you sound bad. But you know, practice makes you better and stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, thanks, bro. So I kept practicing, and I would be like next to them practicing too, and they're like all annoyed. But then they heard me progress, buying a PA system and stuff, and started practicing with the microphone. And then there was a show that Silent played, and they pretty much played a Chelsea Grin cover, and I got to do vocals for it, and I got to really show the whole band I was able to do vocals. And then pretty much the dual vocal thing didn't work out, and that members of that band, like the drummer ended up joining the military. The guitarist ended up joining another band called Event Horizon, and the vocalist ended up joining another band at the time. They were named Rainfall's Gray. He ended up joining that band as a guitarist. So everyone kind of went their own ways. But everyone still pursued music and still kept playing, which was cool. So I still kept practicing vocals. And let me see, from there, sorry, I had another brain fart.
No, it's all right, man.
It's a lot to remember. Just going to the roots, pretty much. So I was playing bass and vocals. I was doing covers. I even did like some tryout videos for like. So when Suffocate had that tryout video, I tried out. Okay. And that didn't work out. Obviously. So I was trying to put myself out there a lot over the internet, but I get very discouraged like very easily at the time. So it just never worked out. So with like me doing covers, so I just didn't even like try to do vocal covers. So I just kept practicing in my bedroom, and then from there, I was hanging out with my friend and his band, Event Horizon, a lot, and I was going to their shows. One day, the guitarist of the band hits me up and tells me, "Hey, do you want to join this other band? They're changing their sound and stuff like that." The band is called Desidera. Pretty much, I joined up with those guys I was in that band for like almost 2 years. Wow! And I was playing bass at first. I was playing bass for quite a while, and then they surprised me out of nowhere. And they're like, "Well, we have this song. You should do the vocals for it." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then we had like this dynamic where we played. The original vocals would do like 5 songs, and I would do like 1 song. So we had like 2 front men on the stage all the time. So it was pretty cool. We had that dynamic, and because not a lot of bands do that. in our scene. So
Yeah.
so we were like getting like all this type of feedback, and a lot of people were telling me like, "Oh, you're super good at vocals." So it just kept pushing me more and more, and then I started like doing features for other bands and like playing with them. Like we play with this band called The Science Evolved a lot. They're really good. I recommend anyone to check them out. They're really good.
Yeah, man. So to kind of like, I don't mean to cut you off, man, but you're kind of talking about the next question I have. So the next question I have for you is,
right.
What is the music scene in your area or around your area kind of like?
All right. The music scene is not really, because of COVID, but before it seems like it was happening a lot at a bar nearby my house actually. That's kind of like where everyone plays at. That I've noticed. Like my old band still plays. They play there. My friend's band, Black Star, they play there, and they pretty much. There's not many hardcore bands at all.
Yeah.
There's like a couple, but how it used to be when I used to play in scene like 6 years ago. A lot more metal bands now. There's a few.
Yeah, a lot of more like rock bands or like death metal bands or.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like metal, death metal, like all kinds of stuff. Everyone. There's not that many hardcore bands, so there's a few metal bands. I don't really go to shows, so I can't really say too much.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much what I'm noticing. It's just everyone seems to play at a bar, or because we live like in the desert, so there's nothing here, so it's hard to play a show locally around here. Anyways, back then it was a bunch of house shows and stuff like that. So. Because the venue nearby shut down, so that really hurt the scene. I felt because I would always go there and always see all kinds of new bands and local bands will play there, and that's what it felt like. It was kind of like the heart for the scene, and kind of like just got a bit off.
Yeah, man, that sucks, man. I completely understand where you come from. I grew up here in Massachusetts, man, and when I first started, there was this place called Fat Cats, and it was around, and everybody used to go there, and it's technically still around, but it's around in a different capacity, and it doesn't do shows. I mean, obviously, because of what's going on in the world, nobody's really playing any shows, but it was just kind of one of those things that when it disappeared, it just kind of seemed like you had to go either out of state or to another city in order to have, what we had there. And we had like a lot of bands that kind of came out of there, like seeing bands like Legia and seeing bands like Killswitch Engage perform in this tiny little hole in the wall. It's like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, man.
It's like it's so crazy to think that happens. And then when I moved to Florida, man, there are so many venues in Florida. It's like crazy. So in speaking of like sound and stuff like that, so I was reading on your about me on the Demurred page there, and basically you said you call it down tempo deathcore. And to be honest with you, you say down tempo. I feel like it's just groovy ass deathcore you do, man. It's a really cool, like, I don't know, man. It's almost got like really like chill groove parts. But what was that the idea behind the sound when you were like, I want to do something and this is how I want to do it? Was there more there for you, or was it something you felt like you needed to do?
The way I started Demurred was pretty much had a car accident and I had a near-death experience.
Wow.
In that near-death experience, I had a lot of flashbacks of when I used to play music, and that kind of like made me want to start playing. So I started really wanting to play. Then, brothers would encourage me to. It would be so cool if you did vocals again. And I had friends in this 6-year gap of not playing music. Had friends tell me like, "Oh, you should start playing. You should start doing something." And it like all those voices echoed in the back of my head all the time. But then when my dad finally told me, "You were totally a lot happier when you played music. I think you should start doing vocals again."
Wow.
So it really spoke to me, and I had like a lot of money saved up to go back to college. So instead, I gave that up, and I pretty much want a EP that I would always dream of. So, and he totally did it. He did that and more.
Yeah.
Like the whole EP is fucking crazy. Like, I would never even dream of even doing this type of music. So I'm very thankful that Aaron wrote me like a really, really, really awesome. And the reason I put Downtempo Deathcore is because I kind of referenced him a lot of downtempo bands and deathcore bands, and I kind of like wanted him to merge things, and he kind of did. Like the beginning of like Interfectorem Exspiravit, it's similar to Black Tongue, so that's pretty much, I was like, all right, it's like a combination of downtempo and deathcore to me. And there's a couple other songs that are more slower than what's already out there right now. So I feel like I could just call it deathcore. It doesn't really matter.
It's got some groove to it, man. It kind of almost like, it just kind of like, it's heavy, but it does definitely have some groove parts, man. And you know, you kind of already reached into my next question, man. You're getting at me, man. It's almost like you saw my questions. And once again, I will always sing the praises of Aaron Shaparian on this show, man. He's a great producer. But you know, as you kind of stated, you know, he did a lot of the writing he did most of the writing of the music, and you kind of just pointed him into a direction, man. How do you feel like he helped you reach that sound? And how do you feel like he helped bring your vision as well as bring your vocals, you know, so well together, man, especially on, you know, the song you have, Declaration of the New World Order. It's an absolutely amazing, well together, put together song, man.
So pretty much Aaron wrote the instrumentals last year. I would like reference bands like King Conquer and Meyer Lore and Body Snatcher, Black Tongue. And he kind of just did his thing with what I just told him, and I was with the outcome. Like the first song, which was the first instrumental, which was the one for Interfectorem Exspiravit, I was blown away. I was listening to it like during my break at work, and I was so blown away. I was like I started jamming pretty much the song, trying to get the feel for like the timing, and I was like saying a lot of random stuff. But then I was screaming old lyrics, and I was like, these lyrics feel like very, very much made for this song for sure, because I wrote this for this song. That's what it felt like to me, because it fits so well. It's like I don't have to even edit anything, or just, it's like I wrote this song for Aaron to write and put it all together. So that's kind of what I did with the first song. I used lyrics that I was writing for like 6 years. I never like deleted them. I just kept like editing them over the years, and pretty much added those lyrics to that instrumental, and they fit so well. It's like, it was crazy. So and then I tracked the vocals, and then Aaron received them. Like that song wasn't supposed to be a single. I was blown away by what Aaron did with the mix. I was like, holy shit! Like he makes me sound like one of my favorite vocalists, which I really like. So he can definitely, he made it sound so good. Like it's hard to explain like how I feel about it, because it's so unreal. I just believe it. I just can't believe the sound that I'm dealing with. I can't believe that I get to put vocals all of this stuff. Like, it's a dream come true. Like, I don't think my dreams even came close to what he made come true, which is cool. I had a vision for the band just to be a heavy project, and he kind of made it into more than that. It's like it's his own original, which is great. able to write all these original songs, like with Declaration of the New World Order. I wrote those lyrics for a previous project, and those lyrics also fit very well with that the second instrumental that Aaron gave me, and like, holy shit, that's pretty well. It's like all these lyrics and stuff I was working towards was for this destination. That's what I feel like. So these lyrics found their homes, and the concepts found their homes, and I was able to kind of put them together. Yeah. And the writing for it, like Luke Griffin, he wrote like a pretty big part in lyrics. So I wrote like 85% of it, and he wrote like 15%. Also like did some editing and stuff, lyrics, but most of it was I definitely wrote. The idea was to pretty much what's going on in this system. I feel that it's very broken. I feel that everything's leading toward a master plan. Yeah. And it's called the New World Order, and it's run by a secret organized mafia, I feel. And I call them the plutocratic mafia. I don't call them what everyone else calls them. Specifically because they work as a organized criminal organization. I pretty much wanted to have an anthological concept with this EP. Like every song is different. Like the first single is about, and then the second single is about pretty much the system, and pretty much exposing the system. And so I was able to pretty much come up with my own stuff and like go about that way with writing. The rest of the music are lyrics that I wrote a year ago, and I'm very excited to show everyone what I've made recently, because these are I feel the strongest lyrics I will ever write, to be honest.
That's what's up, man. To be honest with you, especially with Declaration of the New World Order, it's kind of timely fitting with everything that's going on in the world, man. It's almost like one thing after another, man. You've got so many crazy things that are going on. So when I heard the song, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. You know, you released it back in July, and here it is. It's kind of timely fitted, you know, with everything going on, you know? So,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, for real. But no, that's cool, man. And once again, it speaks to what Aaron does as a producer and as well as a songwriter. He is an amazing songwriter as well too. Obviously, if anybody who doesn't know, Aaron has a YouTube page. He also has a Spotify where you can go check out some of the music that he writes, because he's always writing. And you might find something you like on there, and you can hit Aaron up, and you can buy a song from him, and he can bless you with all his talents and stuff like that. And Glenn, it really sounds like he really did exactly what you wanted and then some, man, because some of, the songs are really, really good. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that other single, because that is way too hard to pronounce. And the way that you just roll it off your tongue blows my fucking mind. So let's talk a little bit about that single. So you're, a declaration, you're talking about, bullshit going on, the broken system, secret organization going on in the other single. What are we talking about there, man?
All right. So like the last house I lived at was super fucking haunted. So when I first moved in, there were dead animals everywhere. I thought that was weird. Like all the animals just came there to die. So when me and my parents were looking at the house, I'm like, you guys really don't want us to live in here? Like it's already sketched. It was like super sketch. And then we went to the upstairs, and there's some things that I don't even want to talk about that I saw, and then in my bedroom, before we put carpet down, because there was no carpet in the house, so we had to like install that ourselves pretty much. So we had to put down the carpet. So before we put down the carpet, there was this like crazy symbol. Whoa. Like I was like, I don't even want to know. So we just kind of like ignored it and just put carpet over it. It's like whatever. And there was all this crazy stuff around the house. And then one day, neighbor had came over and was like, "Hey, a lot of people died here, right?"
God damn.
And he's like, I just want you to know in case they didn't tell you.
Wow.
But were you guys aware? And we're like, no. And we kind of didn't believe him at first.
Mm-hmm.
Then he showed us this newspaper. And because this is when I lived in Hesperia. I live in Apple Valley. So it's like this old like newspaper, and it shows a crime scene in front of the house that I lived in, and all this crazy story about how like a lot of children were kidnapped and girls were raped and murdered and all this stuff. I was like, this is crazy. So one night, sleep, and I was in my room, and I saw something. I don't know if it's either sleep paralysis or what, but it immediately, and I couldn't move. I was very scared of this thing, and I heard a lot of whispers, and pretty much it kind of like unfolded a story about where this kind of entity came from. And there's like this thing in the Bible, it kind of talks about our dimension and hell, but then there's a dimension in between. And this pretty much, the spirit was coming from this dimension and the world of the dead.
Wow.
So it's pretty much purgatory. So that's why in the song, I talk about oblivion, because pretty much the song's about possession. So it's not really an actual concept, like it's real, but I talk about this entity possessing me, and I go out and do the deeds that this thing used to do, pretty much, and onto the world, pretty much unleashing new evil into the world. Pretty much the concept of the song, I was influenced a lot by this movie called, the VHS movies.
Oh yeah.
And VHS too, they had this Baphomet thing come out, so that's kind of where like the inspiration to write this song came from. Was kind of like, all right, there's a new kind of evil in the world, and it's disguised as a normal human, and no one knows what's behind his eyes and stuff. So
yeah, man, the concept sounds pretty cool. It sounds like you're taking some of the experience that you had in that house. My next question to you is, how fast did you guys fucking move from that house?
Lived there till like we lost the house. So
I'm sorry.
Pretty much. Yeah, the economy sucks.
Yeah, man. It happened. I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah. It's pretty much the house where I grew up most of my teenage years. But yeah, I don't hate that house. I'm very thankful for all the special experiences I had, because all my friends would come over and it was like a haunted house for them.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna take a shower real quick," and he took a shower, and then the lights shut off on him. But then the power breaker didn't go out or anything, so it was super weird why the lights went out and the light bulb was fine. So he got really, really scared. And then the toilets will like flush themselves, and were turned on by themselves. You would hear children laughing in the backyard, which was this one night. I had all my old band practices at my house. So we would have them in separate detached garage. So we pretty much practiced in there. And one night the lights were on and all this stuff, because I always shut it off, and it's like there's no lock on the door, so it's like it has this chain, so you just kind of like lock it that way. The chain was unlocked and the lights were on.
Whew.
And someone's breaking into the garage, and I'm gonna go check it out. I told my parents what was going on, and my dad followed me. So me and my dad, we approached the garage, and I go inside. I see no one. and I thought my phone was behind me, but he actually wasn't. So I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh
So I
shit!
just go here alone, and pretty much I hear children laughing, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I just pretty much saw the door, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "There's no one out here." I looked around for footprints. There's nothing. So I was like, "Was that real, or am I going crazy?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that happened around the house. Like my brother would sleep and has a glass sliding door, and that sliding door would open it by itself sometimes.
Ooh.
So he always would feel a breeze, and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" and and then there's another time my brother woke up and he had a burning sensation on his back, and I was like, let me see. And then when I rolled up his shirt, it was like this long one scratch on his back, and I was like, we don't have cats or anything, or his bed is not messed up. And I'm like, we were just like, what the hell?
Yeah, where the fuck did this come from?
Like he woke up from it, so I'm like, well, I was just in his bedroom playing video games, and I see him wake up. I'm like, whoa, it's like crazy. Just some stuff like that would just happen, and the whole time experiencing all these things by myself. But then later, recently, me and my parents were talking, and they had similar experiences like me when they were by themselves in that house. So it wasn't just me. It was kind of like anyone could have an experience there.
Yeah, and that's crazy that you were able to take some of that and put this into this song, man, because it sounds traumatic as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have family and friends and relatives that are very sensitive to the spirit world, if you will, and they tell me stuff, and I don't know, I'm kind of a skeptic, but like, you can't knock someone's experience because you weren't there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing you tell this story, man, but it's making the hairs on my back stand up, man, because it just sounds creepy as shit, you know?
Oh yeah, especially coming around. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, like I said, you can't discount people's experience, man. It's just the world that we live in, man. And you know, and here we are. You know, some artists take inspirations from many, many different things, and you're taking it from a real life place that you and it seems like your family all experienced. You know, and it sounds like you guys finally cleared up, so you don't feel like you're crazy. Like, yo, it wasn't just happening to me, man. So that, I mean, yeah, that in itself is just it's validation, you know, that like, yo, something was wrong with that house.
Yes, and it's history, and pretty much the story of what happened there, I already explained in the song, so I don't have to explain anymore. And I don't want to like talk about like all the camping and stuff. I just wanted to talk about this guy into oblivion to want to pretty much host someone's body and come this to the world.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. It sounds like you really accomplished that in the song, man. So I got one last question for you before we get out of here, man. What are you hoping for once all of this stuff with COVID and stuff like that calms down for Demurred? Do you want to keep it just you as a project, or would you like to make this a full-time band?
I had a friend from work, and we were trying to get the band. He was going to be the drummer for the band. We were trying to get it started. Couldn't find you can't find a guitar player to play any strings and stuff and to play the songs. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like the issue is like the local availability of musicians for me is very limited. So it's probably just going to stay an internet band. I'm not going to try to band anymore. Mm-hmm. I might do like one show or two shows or something. I don't know. It might be like a rare occasion type of thing because I'm super busy as well. Like plus I have like a lot of like health reasons to play like a full set live anyways. So, I think I can, but it should be, because playing these songs live for me would be very awesome. No. I wanted to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. It might happen. It might not happen. I hope I hope it'll happen one day, and I can recruit this drummer that started with me and like take it somewhere.
Yeah, man.
But other than that, so far it's just the internet and as of now.
Mm-hmm.
I might work with other songwriters. I might not. Like as of right now, I don't have any plans for a second album or a third album or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a EP I'm focused on
Mm-hmm.
and releasing and recording. So as of right now, like if I were to get another songwriter, I definitely still want Interfectorem to be a part of the project somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Is nothing against Aaron. I just want to work with other. I like dreamed of working with other people too. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see where this could all go, and I want to work with as many people as possible, and like kind of get experience. And I want to learn a lot. So I'm just hoping I get to learn more from working with others, because Aaron, he's super talented. He's a legend. Like I call him the Gandalf of metal, like for sure. He's
The
like the wizard.
Gandalf of metal. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
He is so
awesome.
wise. He's so smart. He's a very nice guy.
No, for real, he is. He truly is.
But yeah, I would like to work with Aaron, but the issue is financial reasons. So to like look the other way for right now. But I definitely want Aaron to be a part of the project. With mixing and mastering, or even helping write a song, it'd be cool. I really hope that I get to accomplish those things, and as well as working with other vocalists I look up to.
Yeah, man, for real. That's what's up, brother. So, before we get out of here, man, let's plug your social media so people know where to find you, man. You can find Demurred at facebook.com/Demurred. You can find him on Instagram _Demurred_. And then you can also hit up his merch store, teesprings.com/stores/Demurred-merch, man. And thank you, Glenn, so much for coming on my show today, man. I truly appreciate it, man. Thanks for the Halloween material I wasn't ready for.
Thank you so much, man, for having me on. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, man.
All right, man. Thank you.